Awaiting orders.
Welcome to our review of Stronghold Warlords. This is the newest installment of the real-time strategy Stronghold franchise from Firefly Studios and will be available on PC starting March 9th of 2021. This newest edition brings players to the Far East, where you can battle with and against Japanese, Chinese, Mongolian and Vietnamese lords. For those of you who are new to Stronghold, I recommend starting with the tutorial, then followed by the campaign mode. In the 5 available campaigns, you will slowly be introduced to new buildings, troops and weapons, and such you can take your time to learn the strengths and weaknesses of everything that is available to you in multiplayer or skirmish. There are 3 difficulties to choose from, where easy is a little bit too easy for my taste, but medium will already give you quite a challenge. And for those of you who really want to break their mouse and keyboard, you can try out hard mode, which for me personally is a little bit too much. But I can imagine that it's loved by those hardcore RTS fans out there. The campaign story itself is quite basic. Through a short briefing before you start a new mission, you basically are told in a small summary what the story is through text and speech. There are no cutscenes in the game, but sometimes you get video comments from your opponent during a mission. I myself don't mind the lack of real story, as in Stronghold what matters most is the gameplay itself. The most fun of course can be had in multiplayer. Fighting with or against friends and foes is something that in my opinion is the most exciting in strategy games. You learn the most in multiplayer from other people's strategies, and the fun of joining together against other teams is something that just can't be equaled in a single player game. A new feature in the Stronghold series is of course Warlords. For the first time you can recruit, upgrade and give orders to these AI warlords to do as you command through a special in-game warlords menu. Each warlord has different perks and abilities that can be upgraded by spending diplomacy points. Be careful though, as warlords can be taken by your enemies at any point in the game, either by force or demanding obedience to diplomacy points. These warlords can provide support by sending you resources, lending military aids, and various other perks. Aside from the immense graphical upgrade, different surroundings, and music, Stronghold plays very similar to its predecessors. Your main focus should be to gather resources to keep your population happy, and to grow your castle and troops so you can defend against invaders and defeat other players. I've spent around 50 hours in the game and I feel like I'm just starting to understand what to build first and what are the best strategies for a victory. Finding the right balance in your supply of food, wood, gold, diplomacy points, weapons and everything else I found is the most important into becoming victorious. The gameplay itself is as it always was. As long as you have the necessary resources, you can immediately build any building in your designated area. No workers are needed for this. To get workers to your castle, you need to acquire workers. This is done by building houses. You can then use these workers for either your military or buildings that produce food or other products. Depending on your popularity, workers decide how fast they will arrive to your castle. By increasing or decreasing the individual popularity factors such as taxes, food, fee, and clothing, you can determine how fast workers will arrive or leave your castle. In order to get gold, you can increase or decrease the taxes you collect on your workforce or sell resources. Gold is a very important factor in the game, as you can always buy any resources you need at the time if you're short in that area. Be careful though, as increasing the tax burden will make staying in your castle less popular. A thing to always keep a close eye on is of course food. If you have enough food, it's difficult to make your workers unhappy. But once you run out of food, expect the worst for your castle's inhabitants. In order to defend your castle, you will need to build walls, towers and gatehouses. This keeps enemies out and gives easy passage for your own troops. Nothing is more important than a good defense, as it can be quite difficult to overtake a well thought out castle. To overtake enemy castles, it's best to have a variety of siege weapons when you attack. Using catapults, trebuchets, mortars and rocket launchers are the quickest tools to take down enemy walls. And if that doesn't work, you can use laddermen and siege towers to allow your troops to climb on top of walls. If everything fails, then you can also use your troops to destroy enemy walls. This takes quite a long time though, so if the enemy has a strong defense, the likelihood of failure is large. In that case, it would be better to regroup and wait for new siege weapons to arrive. And now as a final verdict for the game, I will give it a rate of 8.5 out of 10. If you like real-time strategy games, in my opinion, this is a no-brainer and I would pick it up on release. For those of you who like other types of games, it's difficult for me to give an advice on this matter. We would like to thank Firefly Studios for a free early access version of the games. Beside the free copy, we weren't compensated for this review or any other video we put out there on Stronghold Warlords. If you like this video, please do not forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment. For now, see you next time, peace out and game on.
We have been sent a contingent of Imperial Guardsmen from the King, Excellency. Guardsmen are armed with a powerful hammer and damage several targets at once with their attacks.